put all your hopes in this house. You wanted it to be beautiful for your kids. You waited and waited, and you have seen over 100 houses. You must be really frustrated. What did he say? He said that the first time one of you guys understand, the first time, what happened then? He started talking to her more. After a week, he asked her, what can I do now? What can I do now? So what happened? She tried something that none of them tried before, which is empathy. I want to listen really well to get an accurate picture of what you must be going through. Making sense? Any disagreement so far? So the Lord himself, as we see in Hebrews and so many other verses, did that he came and took our flesh. He came and took our pain. He came and took and said, I'm going to be human. Just to see what you see and go through what you go through, right? Do you agree? Okay, so empathy. Are you ready to lose your seat for a while and sit in the other seat and just watch and see what your kids is seeing or no? Ready for an example? Now it's your turn, okay? So here's my question. Dad, I don't want to go to church anymore. I'm not going to church anymore. Have we heard that before? Okay, so can you give me describe the four attitudes, and then we go to the empathy. Number one, the father's logical reasoning attitude. Dad, I don't want to go to church anymore. What would you say? There's nothing called you're not going. You have to go. What else? That's the reasoning. Like, it's important for you, right? The reasoning. It's important for your spiritual life. If you don't go, your spiritual life will die, right? So this is the reasoning one, right? Give me the mother's attitude in the story, Annie. Why, Habibi, you really have to go? You made me very sad. Yalla, you're not going. What's going on? This is really bad for you. This is really bad news, right? Give me the sisters, like the teaching, the sister. Give me the attitude. That's a friend. That's a friend one, the encouragement. Okay, the friend one is the encouragement. You're going to see your friends. You're going to see the people that you like. There's a lovely gym. You can play there. Encouragement, right? And the sisters one, give me the sisters one. You go there, you meet Jesus. And Jesus will take care of you. So if you don't go and meet Jesus, what will he think? Or this is an opportunity to hear the word of God, right? So do you think these four ones sometimes fail to work with our teenagers? Okay, give me the empathy one, but give me the empathy road. Yeah, beautiful. Your name? M. I will avoid the word why, because why is alienating, right? And we can talk about it if you want. But I would say, what happened? What happened? What's wrong? What must be going? I'm too tired. What happened that you're so tired? You played so much? Did you play a lot last night? Maybe you went to bed last night quite late. That's why you're waking up very tired. So you're really accurately listening to your child. What message is that giving them? That you care. That they are your agenda. They are your priority. Okay? Some of you might be sitting there listening. This is very theoretical. It's in the morning. It's 8 o'clock. The liturgy starts in half an hour. Well, I've done this in the morning. I've done it in the morning when I know I'm very late and I know, come on, we're going to miss the beginning of the liturgy now. We are going to be choosing another church that starts a bit later because we are still having this debate in the morning. But remember, empathy is very powerful. It sends the child the message that I care, as you said, right? What else? Someone said something? Weak? No? That you really care, that you're listening, and it gives you a lot of information. Why? Because you're trying to think, what must be happening in my child's life? They're tired. They didn't organize themselves well. It's boring. What happened that it's become boring? No one really is fun over there. How about your friend Joe? How about your friend Marie? No, she's being, you know what? They've been gossiping. And okay, well, that would be very frustrating if you go to church and people gossip about you. So you're understanding the rationale. Have we done that before? the accurate listening and thinking, if I put myself in their shoes, okay? Let me ask you for another example, and then we can talk about this empathy in a second. Yeah. Absolutely. We have to. We have to talk about that. Yes. Your name is Mira? Mira, yeah, this question we'll have to talk about in a minute. What if I've done my empathy, I listened, I understood their argument, and then they're saying, okay, thank you, goodbye, I'm not doing what you want me to do. Okay? Yeah, we have to talk about that, Mira. But let me ask you another question. Let's see if you understood the empathic approach. Mom, you're from a different generation and culture. I have to go to the sleepover. I'm not going to get drunk. Don't worry. If this is what worries you, I'm not getting drunk. But I have to go, okay? I'm going to use that one with you, but I'm mindful some people in the back said their kids are at uni already. So some of these questions, particularly what we're going to talk about in a minute, about this kind of sleepover, for example, might not apply to somebody who's 18 plus, where your efforts can be slightly more limited compared to a grade 7 or grade 8, okay? So same thing, can we think about the logical dad? I want to go to a sleepover, I am going. What would the logical dad say? We have rules, this is over, full stop, okay? Give me the sympathetic mom. No, Habibi, we'll miss you here at home. It's going to be far, you're going to be late. What happened to you? Like, this is not my son anymore. This is not my daughter. This is not the person I had in mind. Okay, give me the sister's spiritual teaching kind of argument. It's not good. People there might be, yeah, and there are people who might say stuff that you don't like. There might be sin over there, okay? And the encourager, the encouraging friend, which is, come, stay home, we'll do something fun, yeah? What would be the empathic one? Yeah, what's happening? What is making you feel that you really need to go? Where is the pressure coming from? Is it the friend? Is it because everyone is there? Yeah, Mom, everyone is there. I'll be the only one who is not going to be there. Oh, so this is where you're struggling, that you are going to be the only one. You're going to be singled out. Yes, I'm going to be singled out. And if that happens, what would happen? They're going to come from a different planet. Now you've done your best job ever because you've communicated to your child that you care, that you listen, and that you've made the effort, which is really hard. This is really hard, to go into their shoes and see what they see. Most of us haven't been through the struggles. Most of us haven't gone through what they've gone through. So what we think of is different from what they actually truly experience. Okay? So then the next question, what do I do then if I'm empathic and the person, my son, my daughter, is saying no? Okay? So what is in that drawing? Sometimes you think on the left, your son is or daughter is in a maze, and your best job, as you said to me, Hala, is to be the one standing at the top, knowing how to get out, giving them guidance. Turn left, turn right, straight, you're out of your maze. Okay? I got you through your teenage safely because I know the way. I am a perfect, experienced person. They don't like that. And that doesn't take a lot of courage. The empathic way takes more courage, which is, I'm going to jump in with you. I'm going to see what struggles you have. And when I do that, you will open your heart and ask me, where do I go, Dad? Now that you understood the struggle that I'm having, now you can tell them, I think left is a better way. What does the empathy teach my kid? One, they will mirror that approach. When I'm empathic, I'm teaching my son or daughter that when you are having a debate as a grown-up man or woman, you can listen to yourself. You can understand your motives. And instead of being harsh on yourself, oh, okay. That's determination. That's a sheer determination. It seems that the level of teenagers here is, yeah, that's the level. Yeah. I'm coming to this. Yeah, I'm coming to the problems. Yeah. I know, I can guess that some of you are thinking, this is nice and lovely, but my kid is going to do what they want. They're not going to give up, okay? That's what you're thinking. I think some of you, okay, we're getting there. The empathic way will make them feel and understand that they are valued by you. More important than the decision, okay? You mean more to me. Listening to you means more to me than the decision we're going to take in a minute. And that, Mira, allows you to disagree. Empathy doesn't mean we're going to agree. But empathy means I value you so much that your thoughts and your stuckness means a lot to me. Your feelings mean something to me, that I spent half an hour just listening to what argument you have, what problems you have, what can you see. But then I might disagree. I communicated myself very well that I care so much about you, that you mean a lot to me. The disagreement or agreement becomes so small in the end. They're going to be upset, but they're going to remember, I'm upset, but he cares. Okay? Have I tried this? Many times. So I'm not sharing something that I have never tried. What stays with the child, with your daughter, that dad took the time and the effort. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't on his laptop. He spent half an hour to understand why I found it really hard not to go to any sleepover. Through all my high school, I appreciated that so much. Yes, we disagreed, but that's not the memory that I have. The memory is of a caring, good listener, interested person. So I feel so valued. So you are bringing up a kid to feel so valued, to enable them to have the courage to face their inner conflict when they grow up. When we don't do the empathic way and we tell them, it's wrong, you're not going. What did they learn about their value? What did they learn in the future when they face another conflict? What did they learn? That you're either right or wrong. You don't do it. And then they feel bad they didn't do it. And if they do it, they feel even worse. So I'm really keen to make sure I'm communicating a different message to my child. Making sense? So then back to your question with Am and Mira. The question is not whether we agree or not in the end. No, there are times when I put my foot down and say, okay, well, no, I cannot allow this. I'm sorry. But when I spent a good time and I say, no, we agreed, we're going to church every Sunday morning. If you don't like the group in that church, you've been hurt by them, we can think of a different church. But we are going to a church in the morning, okay? And now is not the right time. It's 8:30, we have to go. When we come back, we talk and we listen. No, I'm not going, that's it. Okay, well, you're not going, that's it? Okay, well, I have to take some action because that's not what we agreed on as a rule in the house. So listening and being empathic doesn't contradict with or doesn't have a problem with agreeing or disagreeing in the end. The two are not exclusive. It's not either or. No, empathy and listening and careful accuracy to see what is my son struggling with is important 100%. Okay? Because that's my main role. Agreeing or disagreeing, that's the next step. And it's not the one that will make my daughter feel important, valued, wanting to come home when she's at uni. Okay, think about it this way. Think about the relationship. Okay? I want my daughter or my son, when they are at uni, to feel home was a place where I was valued. Home was the place where mom left everything and sat down to listen to my struggles. They don't remember whether you agreed or didn't. They remember that you valued them so much. They remember that you helped them get through an inner conflict by looking at what could be happening. I see your struggle. I see you trying to balance your Christianity, but also you want to be popular, right? Yeah, that's exactly where I'm stuck. The effort you're making is extremely important. You might think this is nothing. What's the point of listening and spending all that time? Yes or no? No, don't allow them to shrink your role to a yes or no question. Don't allow the circumstances and the pressure from your work and from the community to reduce your role to yes or no, mom. No. It's not a yes or no. Let's listen to where is the pressure coming from, my love? I feel that you're under so much pressure. Yes, I am. I really want to decide. Everyone is texting me. Okay, who's texting? What's going to happen there? What thoughts have you got about this? So I'm listening a lot to where my son is and what they see, what pressures they have. Make sense? Okay, let's pause and take your questions before we move on the empathy. Wham.
It has nothing to do with agree or disagree with them. So that's a good point. But kids are getting smarter now, so they want to get to the point, yes or no. And if every situation they feel our empathy to go and talk to them, and at the end of the discussions we're going to say no, they are not interested actually to talk to us anymore. So how we handle that?
Okay, that's a good point. So you're saying, you got the point about the importance of empathic listening, importance of trying to see what they see. But if they feel in the end it's going to be a no, okay, they're not going to do this process again, I have two disagreements with this, if you don't mind, WM. Number one, the kids will value the experience of being thought of, cared for, and listened to, something that doesn't happen outside. This experience is invaluable. This experience they won't find outside, okay? They will feel people are not interested in listening. They are pressuring, they're demanding, they are ganging up, and no one is taking that time and sense of importance for them, giving them that sense of importance. This doesn't happen only when we have a clash. It will make it way better when it happens when we don't have a decision to make. So let's make it a habit. Every weekend, you have to take your kid out for tea or coffee or a drink or ice cream or a walk. You have to. Because if the encounter is only happening when we have a clash, the memory is dad only takes care when, or is interested when we are clashing. So my answer to your question, WM, as well, number one, it cannot only happen when we have a disagreement or agreement. No, we have to expand. This is a routine. I'm interested in you. Yeah, this is not our topic tonight, but a lot of the time, there are lots of other factors why we are struggling to empathize and listen and take and care for our kids and see them as individuals. Lots of reasons. Do you agree with me? Yeah. I see my wife in her. And I don't like this aspect in my wife, so I cannot tolerate that. She's as stubborn as my wife. I cannot tolerate that. You deal with her.
I thought you're going to say you don't like your wife. So.
You know? yeah. I have arguments with my wife. I don't like when we do these arguments. She reads on things and she argues, and my daughter is the same. You go talk to my wife, to your mom. So there are lots of reasons. That's just one. There are tons of reasons why it's heavy to bond and to connect with our kids where they are at, not where I am. Okay? But we need to make, so my first answer, yes, it's a problem. If the only time we do this, we have a clash. Do you agree? Okay. The second thing is, as we look at the second point, we have roads less traveled. Number one is empathy, okay? The second one, we're going to talk about it will show me that sometimes, after I listened carefully, I understand, well, you know what? You have a point. You actually have a point. Like one time, one mom said to me, the girl said, I'm not going to church. Why? After she did the empathic listening, the girl said, I go there, I'm bullied by the girls. What is the attitude of the mom? Yalla khalas, let's go to church. No, she said, you're making a very valid point. As a high school girl, going to church, everyone is bullying you. Of course I would feel the same. I'd be terrified of going. The girl was like, Mom, are you serious? Yeah, of course I would be serious. Going to church and everyone is bullying me, I would definitely detest going to church. Mom, thank you. What are we going to do together about this? Let's think about it. Let's make some plans. But Mom, I thought, this is a true story. Mom, I thought you're going to tell me we have to go to that church. No, Habibi. Now that I understood the problem, let's think about solutions. What are the solutions? But I'm not proposing we're not going at all to any church, right? What are the solutions? Could we go around this group? Could we talk to the parents? Could we go to another church? Let's think about solutions. In doing this process, so your name is? Magid, in doing this process, Magid, there is a sense of togetherness. Together we sat down thinking, what is the solution to this problem? So I sat down next to my daughter and I'm thinking, yeah, both of us are together. looking at the problem. Different from sitting there. I'm a psychiatrist, as you know. We cannot have a desk and I sit here and the patient is there. This is not right. We sit next to each other thinking, what can we do with your depression? It feels horrible. You lost your mom, you lost your dad, you lost your husband. Terrible situation. How can we get out of this? There's a sense of togetherness with my daughter and my son. And let's think of solutions. So it's not about me here giving directions. No, we are together in the maze thinking about solutions. So of course, not everything is agreement or disagreement. We can think about possible ways. What am I doing here as well? I'm empowering my kid to start thinking of solutions and to start listening to their emotions and think, what can I do to get out of this? This problem-solving technique or skill, I'm teaching my kid. So when they're stuck at uni, they're thinking, I remember very well, my dad sat down to me and thought, what is going on? Where is the pressure? And what are the solutions? Do you get it?
What about teaching? Like Hala mentioned, we need to teach our kids.
Okay, I'm parking the teaching for a second.
Just a quick comment on that.
Mm-hmm. Just a quick comment on teaching.
Is it right or wrong if I tell my kid, if you continue that route or that road, this is the end result?
Okay.
Is that something you're interested in?
I would word it slightly different. Where you're saying, if you continue on that road, this is the end result. Okay. I could say, what would happen if you continue that? What are the possible options that you think? There's more togetherness in this thinking together. What do you think? Because some kids, my son included, of course, think, you know what? I don't need to study. I can be a blogger. I can be a YouTuber. Yeah. I'll make millions. I'll make thousands, right? So all our kids have thought about this. If my position is, this is rubbish, this is nonsense, this doesn't work, do you think you're going to be a millionaire? It doesn't work that way. That's a teaching one. They don't like that. And not just that they don't like it, they don't receive it well. Why do they not receive it well? Because they feel, you have become a teacher. I love you as a dad. I want you to be together with me. I want you to sit down with me, think about, who are the YouTubers that you think of? Give me the names. Is it Mr. Beast? Let's think about Mr. Beast. How did he become Mr. Beast? How many other YouTubers there? What's wrong in becoming Mr. Beast? Or like Mr. Beast? Why can you not be like him? And if you be like him, is this really what you want to be? This process of thinking with my son or daughter is more valuable than telling them, it's rubbish, you're going to be a pharmacist. You know what? This is it. I have a pharmacy, you're going to be... This way is not communicating to my child that I want you to embrace yourself, embrace your thinking, and deal well with yourself. Making sense, Waham? You agree?
Sorry if I'm taking too much time.
No.
But what if the answer...
Apologize to them.
Yes, yes, to all the above questions he asked, and he or she, yes, very interested, and we are struggle to find any answer or ask further questions.
No, I didn't get the question,
like
sorry.
the bloggers, yes, he or she did not study, they are multimillionaires, they are very famous, so you don't have to finish school, and all of a sudden we have no further question.
Okay,
and to be honest, I wish to be one of them. So.
Yeah, that's a problem. It is a problem because when I am thinking with my son, I start to discover the flaws in their thinking. So you think that by putting some stuff on YouTube, you're going to be a millionaire? So there are lots of flaws in that thinking. What are the flaws in that thinking?
Not everyone's successful.
Number one, not everyone putting some YouTube videos gets famous and becomes a millionaire. What else is flawed? Privacy, okay, what else is flawed? Continuity, staying that rich, yeah, what else is flawed? Habibi, the aim is not that you just make money and become empty as a person. What is the point of being a millionaire and deep down, there's no depth, there's no unity with Christ, there's no value, and you can share with them stories of people and you can ask them questions. Let's look up people who won the lottery. Let's see what happened to everybody who won the lottery in the last 5 years in North America. They look with you, they decide, Dad, I was mind blown by this. Many of them divorced their wives and husbands. Many of them had fights. Many of them had depression. Tons of them lost 70 to 90% of the money they earned. What is that, Dad? Oh, let's think about it. There's something flawed in your way of thinking. But you would never discover that if you are at the top giving guidance. But by sitting down, show me the websites. Show me the bloggers that you refer to. And then you start to pray as you're talking, that God gives you wisdom to discover those flaws. And even if you don't know at all, and you think, actually, my son makes sense, I cannot argue back. Let's read more. Let me ask friends and get back to you. And then you can do your search. For example, one time my son asked me a question about something and I felt, I don't know, it's too technical. And I'm not a technical person. So I said, let me check. And I spoke to a friend who works in a tech company and I said, listen, is this really right? And then he showed me the flaws in this. So I came back to my son. I said, why don't we meet with Uncle X? Sit down with him. We sat down and he explained to us how security works. I was like, I've never known any of that. None of my friends know that. But he will feel really proud that Dad took the time and the research and took my point very seriously. But actually what we normally do is ridiculing the point. I gotta be, come on. No, you're not. End of. Don't talk to me about this. So by ridiculing their thinking, you're not giving them the value they need to have, that my thoughts are valuable. I need to think about them. I need to learn how to filter through my thoughts. Agreeing? Yeah. Okay. And the final thing, Abuna, do I still have some time? Yeah. Okay. So my final comment on empathy, guys, we said it helps me connect with my child. It helps them mirror that process. It helps them remove the shame around their feelings. Because when you say, no, then you're shaming them to have thoughts even. The fact that you thought is shameful. The fact that you thought of something that is not the norm is shameful. Do we do that a lot? The fact that you even thought of questioning our orthodoxy is shameful. You shouldn't. No, Habib, why are you questioning it? Give me your questions. It's a process for me to learn as well. And many of us, when we go through these questions with our kids, we will learn. Many of us, and Abuna can correct me, many of us accepted, for example, orthodoxy because this is how we were brought up. But when my kids start asking, I'm actually learning more about why I'm doing what I'm doing by going through that process with them. So it's teaching for me as well. Right, Abuna? And then my final point on this, a lot of the time by doing this empathy, it allows me to understand that sometimes when my kid is so stubborn or angry or rebellious, what they are saying is not what they are communicating. Okay? Sometimes they are so defensive and rebellious, but what they are communicating is, Dad, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so shamed. But the child is not going to tell you, Mom, I'm so shamed by these thoughts. They're going to argue. They're going to be defensive. So by being empathic, you're understanding that sometimes, Hala, what your kid is saying is not what they're actually communicating. Sometimes they're communicating, I need you. But they're not going to tell you, I need you. They're going to tell you, I know what I'm doing. But you're reading, I know what I'm doing. I think you're telling me, I need you, but you're too embarrassed to say it. So let me stay with you. What's your plan for tonight? How are you going to do this homework? Yeah, of course, you're going to do it, but just share with me your thoughts. Okay, let's do it your way. But deep down, I know that sometimes my son or my daughter communicates something through what they're saying. Okay? I'm going to move on because of the time. So we talked about roads less traveled. One is empathy, okay? Let's think about another road that we don't travel quite often with our kids. Agree? The second one is, I put the empathy, EM, so you don't forget it. And the second one is empower. To empower my kid, a big struggle. To lose control. How many of you serve in Sunday school? Some of you? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, quite a few. Okay, imagine that you're serving in Sunday school. And this is your first week or second week or third week. And your Sunday school coordinator calls you saying, Mira, you have the lesson next week, yeah? You have to prepare it a week in advance. You have to send me the lesson. You feel, okay. You send her the lesson. She goes through your lesson and she goes like, no, I don't like this verse. Choose that one is better, okay? I don't like the slides. I put my own slides. They're better. And I didn't like the conclusion, so I put my own conclusion because mine is smarter. and you took too long talking about the point, so I shortened it a bit. How would you feel? You do it. You do it. Yeah? Yeah. So this is a tough lesson for us as parents of teenagers. Empowering our teen, losing control. Losing control. Okay. What do we commonly tend to control in their lives? Give me examples of things that we tend to jump on and control. Mm-hmm. The way they dress. Who they befriend. Who are you with? Okay. The way they dress. Who are they with? Someone said something here. Their behavior. Like, yeah. How they talk. What words you're going to use. Okay. The time, how they use their time. Okay. What they want to become in the future. Yeah. Of course, we control that. Yes. Give me other examples. What else do we tend to control? Their phone time on the phone, time on Xbox or PS5 or 4, time on the Nintendo Switch, time on YouTube. What else? Their friends. Who are your friends? Sometimes they're thinking, I'm beautiful. I don't like these thoughts. Change them. Yeah. What else? The food habits, exactly. What do you eat? Come right there. You're eating all these kind of rubbish stuff full of fat and greasy. Danny McDonald's again. So we're controlling their food. So I want you to think about your child. Everything is controlled. My food, my time, my thoughts, my words, my life, my gadgets, my study, my career, my feelings. Don't feel like this. So is this a life? ده مش freedom. You're controlling everything. خنقة. Yeah. So we have to remember مش للدرجة دي في ناس some of you are starting to defend themselves. No, we don't do this. We don't do this. Yes. Okay, let's go back to the control. Okay, so it's very easy to be controlling. As we said, controlling their time, their friends, their social life, how they spend their money, their schoolwork, how they drive if they are driving, what they eat, church activities, their clothes, their language, the games, the thoughts, right? We want to control all that. Hala is not happy, yeah? More than control or less than control? Love. Hey, love. By the way, I love the disagreement, because if you don't disagree and you leave, it's very idealistic, this idea. I'm going to control my son's life anyway. Like, if you leave thinking this way, then we haven't really succeeded. We have to, give me your disagreement.
We don't want them to invent the wheel from the beginning.
We learned. No, why not?
We learned lessons, and was tough lessons in our lives.
Beautiful point.
So we try to give them the summary and what's right and what's wrong.
I want you to come to work with me as a psychiatrist, and on day one, I tell you, you know what? I'm going to make sure that you don't go through all the hassles I went through. You listen to me. I'm going to teach you how to be a good psychiatrist. You will feel, let me try. Let me make mistakes, man. You are from an older generation. I'm learning faster than you. We'll talk about this with Em. Give me literally a minute. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions before we come to Em's point. And is she your wife? Yeah, defending? Yeah, okay. You were saying the lie. We do it out of love. Yeah. Yeah. I like when we say we do it out of. Sorry, I'm not picking on you at all. But I remember I was in a meeting like this, Abuna, in a similar church, not mentioning which one. And then Bardo, somebody said, we were talking about something similar. And someone said, we were talking about apologizing as well and being respectful to our kids. And she said, I said, sorry, I did it because I love you. But that's not an apology. That's an excuse. Like, I'm giving myself an excuse. I did it because I love you. That's not, when you say sorry, you say sorry. You know what? This is it. But when you start giving yourself excuses, this is not an apology. You're serving your own purpose. You're not serving the apology purpose. So let me ask you another question. How do we communicate control? And I'm sorry, I'm going to use it. Control, not love. Okay. how do we communicate that control to our kids? What do we do to communicate it? Order. Yeah. Commanding. Yes. Ordering, commanding. What else? Yeah. Did you say threatening? No? Yeah. One of you? Threatening. Yeah. Threatening. Yes. Threatening. Yeah. The body language. Yes. Punishment. Yeah. Yeah. I have a list. Threatening, manipulation, comparison, frightening sentences, undermining their thoughts and their way of doing things, suppressing and commanding. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? That's back to Amber. We're not evil people, all right? We're not bad people. Why do we try to control everything in their life that much? Why? From generation, that's your point, Am. This is how our parents dealt with us, right? Very, very important point, okay? One of us we have to break the chain. If this is the chain of how our parents did everything with us, as you said, this is not that generation, number one. Number two, God is opening my eyes to understand the value of their thoughts, of their processes. I want to communicate that to my kids. So what else? Why do we do that? Why do we control كده? We're scared. Number one is fear. Number one is fear. What are we scared of? Consequences, mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. As you said, I've been through these mistakes. I don't want my kid to make those mistakes. Very common way of thinking, which is not very accurate. It's not very accurate. Because if I protect my son from making those mistakes, he's going to learn nothing. He's going to be so fragile. And I've seen that. And again, I'm probably older than a lot of you, but I've seen that. I've seen that a lot. That people become so fragile and so sheltered as well. And we're not preparing them for, making mistakes is pivotal in the teaching process or in the learning process. Okay, we talked about the flexibility and the growth. Okay, scared of them making mistakes, scared of risks, right? Sorry, you're going to say something. Okay, remember, you're saying the question here is, they don't know even that these are mistakes, right? But this is okay. But remember, controlling that for them is not going to teach them that either. They're going to sometimes rebel and do it behind your back because they're thinking, you're so controlling, you're not allowing me to try things, so I'm going to try them behind you. Tons of our kids have VPNs because they are going to access the internet behind your Wi-Fi and behind the school's Wi-Fi. Because you are trying to control me. Like, again, this is a vivid example. One of the Christian schools here in Canada, they control the Wi-Fi for the kids. Every child going there, grade 9, first thing they tell them, grade 10s and 11s, give me your phone. I'll tell you how to break the code. Give me this is your VPN. You can access anything. So then what does that teach me? That sometimes that control, that way is not the way. Okay? Share your thoughts. No. Share your thoughts, no? Okay. Guide and control. Big.
But it's a different generation, I know that. But it's our parents, they give us a lot of choice. They guide us قالوا لنا الكويس والوحش وخلونا نختار.
But that's not controlling. When I am not controlling, I tell my son or my daughter, well, you have options.
Yeah.
These are the options. You go make your choices.
Okay,
that's not controlling.
Like one point of the يعني مثلا say if for how they drive. لو أنا ما فهمتش, if I didn't tell her or don't go fast, don't يعني your speed has to be make sure your speed it's لأن في consequences بعديها.
Okay.
لو الميستيكس دي لو مثلا ماسكه كوبايه غلط فوقعت منها اتكسر that's fine. لكن في حاجات ما ينفعش فيها that's fine دي خالص هنا.
Okay, so that you're making your name معلش.
تغريد.
You're making about 2 or 3 points. One, we'll talk about in a minute, which is I need to do a safety assessment. Is this very risky, imminent risk that I really need to interfere? I say, no, this is too risky. Or this is not a risk that frightens me and too big that I think, let them learn. That's number one. We have to do some quick safety assessment to think, is this, somebody said in the beginning, I think it was Euros, is this a battle that I need to go through, or is this a lesson for them to learn? Okay, so that's one thing. Of course, there are risks where I think, no, I need to come in. I need to come in and tell them, no, this is too risky. Like, for example, I'm going to bring a buddy at home. I'm going to bring her home. No, I'm sorry. I don't know this girl at all. We cannot bring her home. Let's talk about this. Who is the family? So then you said no, okay? This is not control. This is not the bad control we're talking about, okay? But then you said to me about the driving. Don't go fast. Who doesn't know that they shouldn't go fast? Every driver knows they shouldn't go fast. So I might not say that way. I might not say that because I know. They know they shouldn't go fast. But I can tell them, you know what? Are you aware you're going 70 and the road is 50? Yes, I am aware. Okay, well, do you understand what might happen? If they say, yes, I do, I might lose my license, I might get some points. Okay, Habib, I'm just letting you know, because if you lose them, you might not be able to get them back. Okay, yeah, but this is yours. Okay, I'm going to give you a name of a book that talks in detail about these examples. If you want to buy that book. My wife read it and she shared some points with me. Beautiful book about this area in particular.
It's no way we can control it if they have it. They are addicted to the social media. Why not I limit the control or the access to the phone at certain time at night? It's locked. No way that you can access it, and that's it. It's still type of control, but in the meantime, we're adding limitation. I'm not preventing it for the whole day.
Your name is?
Georgina.
Georgina, that's also another example of, okay, well, I'm not controlling exactly every website you're going on. I'm giving you some freedom. But at 10 o'clock, there's no Wi-Fi. I'm not controlling your life on the computer. I'm giving you that choice, okay? I'm giving you that choice to choose to play a game, not to play a game. I'm giving you that choice. But we are setting a rule at home, no Wi-Fi after 9:30 or no Wi-Fi at 10. That's it. That's not control, the bad control. Why is it not the bad control? Because it's not happening out of fear. It's not happening out of guilt, that I feel guilty, that I'm a bad parent. A lot of us exert control because I feel guilty, that I'm a bad parent. How do you feel? How do you feel that the kids would feel if I'm exerting control because I think I'm a bad parent? Does that taste nice to our kids? No, it tastes that you are doing this because you want to be a good parent. You're not insisting that I go to Sunday school because you love Sunday school. It's because you are a deacon and everyone will know that your son is not going to Sunday school. You care about not feeling guilty, not about me. So we have to be careful. When I feel I'm on the controlling side too much, I need to ask myself, could it be coming out of fear? That I'm too scared to lose control at all? Then I need to learn. No, there are things that I need to let go. I need them to learn. I need them to make mistakes, as long as it's not in the safety zone, okay? But I need them to start making mistakes. Befriending people in church and come back saying, no, that wasn't really a good guy. I need to give them some area of responsibility. Because if I don't do it until they're 18 and suddenly the first thing is university, I haven't prepared my kids. I haven't prepared my teenagers. Do you agree? And the other one is the illusion. What's the illusion? I have a myth that if I control my kids all the time and I decide for them everything, they're going to be beautiful, amazing angels. This is a myth. This is not true. And it happens, as I say, I'm a psychiatrist, so we train residents all the time. If I tell the residents what they should do with every patient, do you think they would be good psychiatrists? Going back to Am's point. But I told them everything I went through. I don't want them to make mistakes with medication. I don't want them to make the same mistakes, so I go into every clinical appointment they have, and I sit with them, and I tell them, this is what you should prescribe. This is what you should say. This is the question that you should ask. Did I prepare them to be good psychiatrists? They're dependent on me. or they are rejecting psychiatry completely because it was awful. This guy was so stifling. Same as surgery. Going with every surgeon, young surgeon with them to the theater saying, no, 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 this is how we do it. No, that's wrong, you're going to lose life. Do you not think that residents sometimes make big mistakes? Yeah, but that's learning. We talked about our kids are in a process. But we do it out of fear. We're so scared. And we do it out of guilt sometimes, or out of the illusion that if I control so much, things will go perfectly fine. Yes, they might go perfectly fine, but I haven't prepared a good psychiatrist. I haven't prepared a good, deep human being who can connect with God deeply. Really, yeah, because connecting with God means sinning and He, right? Give me the hand. But if I protect them that I didn't expose them to any badness or evil at all, okay, well, when are they going to experience the resurrection? When are they going to experience the forgiveness? When are they going to experience God's ability to be with us when we are very down? They're going to be faced with this thinking, I never had this before. So if it's happening out of fear, out of guilt, out of illusion that this is the best way to protect and make perfect human beings, I need to revise my steps. Let me share with you two things, and then we can maybe pause and take questions. I'm not following the time, but it's been an hour, so maybe, is it an hour? Yeah. Okay, sorry. Let's share a verse. I'll show you the book I talked about and share one final tips for that control area, and then we take questions. I know you had a question, right? Yeah. Here is a verse from 1 John 4:18. I'm sure you know that verse. There's no fear in love. So somebody said it's out of love. Remember, there's no fear in love. Why? Perfect love casts out fear. Because God, your love for me is perfect. I have no fear. Perfect love casts out fear. Okay. Because fear torments. الخوف بيعذب بالعربي. الخوف له عذاب. الخوف بيعذبك. Fear torments. But he who fears has not been made perfect in love. Another verse from 1 Peter 5. Therefore, humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God. Humble yourself? Yeah, because when you are controlling, you think you are God. Okay? Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, that He may exalt you in due time, casting all your care, if you're so anxious about your kids, casting all your care upon Him, for He cares for you. This is the book that I mentioned. It's called Losing Control and Liking It. It does talk about this area as well. Of course, the slides will be shared with Abuna Yani if you are interested. And this is what we talked about, EOM, which is, yes, I need to do some quick safety assessment to decide, is this an area that I want my son to learn some responsibility in, or an area where I really need to hit the brakes because we're going to hit a car? So this safety assessment is important. The other thing is, I need to talk to my wife. If you are, or husband, if you are not single parents, I need to talk to my partner. We need to have a dialogue. And sometimes really the presence of kids is important for us to begin to have that dialogue. Do you think I was so controlling? Yeah, I think you were. Yeah, well, what happened? Well, the guy was angry in the house and blah, blah, blah. And you told him, this is what you're going to do. I don't like these thoughts. You go back to your room. You were too stifling. We needed to let him decide what he's going to do for this hour. Yeah, but he's going to fail his English. Well, you know what? We told him, you're grade 12. This is your responsibility. And this is tip number 4. Being clear about responsibilities. Look, the bed is your responsibility. The laundry comes down to the washing. This is your responsibility. We are clear about this. When they don't do it, we sit down and think, well, this was your responsibility. We need to make sure it happens, because now you don't have any clean clothes. Mom, please, come on, do it for me. No. Why, Habibi? We agreed, this is your role. When you toughen up, they are starting to learn. There is something called responsibility that no one does for you. So this is how you prepare them, right? Do you get the point? So then I need, number 1 tip, safety assessment. Number 2, talk to each other. What if I'm a single parent? I talk to other parents and understand. So I can learn, is this too controlling? I talk to Abuna. I need to understand, is this me too controlling or too loose? And deciding of areas of responsibility. And those areas grow. So grade 9 area of responsibility is like this. By grade 11, I'm giving them more responsibilities. And we're talking again about what went well, what didn't go well, How can I help you do your job here? This is your responsibility. I'm not looking at your studies anymore. This is you. You are going to ask for help, not me. Do you get the idea? So the area grows. And then throughout all this controlled responsibility area, my eyes are focused on the relationship. I don't want to ruin my relationship with my daughter or son. I want them, when they go back to university, they remember we had discussions, we had fun, we had coffee together, we had ice cream together. Mom was listening, dad was interested in my thoughts, in my readings, in my characters, in my book, in my room. This is the atmosphere I want to think about. So my eyes are not thinking about goals, goals, goals. I'm not reducing my upbringing to of my son or daughter to certain goals that I want to achieve. No, no, no. All of us, we fell into that trap, that we have milestones. Like I want them to be X, Y, we tick in the boxes. X, 1, 3, 4, yeah. Ticked all the boxes, I feel fine. Then I'm acting out of guilt. This is not upbringing. Upbringing is a relationship, okay? It's not just about goals. So let my eyes not fall down on that. And sticking to my responsibility. A lot of the time I think, back to you Tagreed, that the control is the only solution. No, no, the better solution is modeling. This is how dad does it. Dad has responsibilities. Dad makes mistakes, says, I'm sorry. Dad takes risks and come back saying that was really wrong. I lost a few thousands really by buying this car. So then I'm learning. This is the modeling. Sometimes I think controlling is a better way. No, no. Modeling sometimes, or a lot of the time, is a much better way. But it's harder. Because controlling hala means I'm telling you what to do. But modeling means I am going to do what I'm preaching. That's harder. But it's a better teaching. Way better teaching. Back to the psychiatry resident. And instead of going to every clinical encounter and telling them, this is how we do it, no, I am modeling. When he sits with me and sees how I do it, this is it. Khalas, this is it. So the first psychiatric job I did was in the UK, was with a psychiatrist called George. He didn't tell me anything. He didn't give me any book or teach me. I just went in with him. I saw how he talks to patients, how he listens, how he cares. Boom. It gets engraved here. Without trying to control every letter, I made mistakes. I'm sure I made mistakes in my first year. But what sank in is the modeling. So as a mom or dad, I have to ask myself, before I start the control, am I modeling things at home? Oh, nobody watches anything after 10 o'clock. It's time to read your Bible. And I am sitting till 12 p.m. watching movies, watching YouTube. No, this is 18 plus. No way you're going to watch that. At night, I'm allowing myself to watch 18 plus, anything. It's okay, just some stuff. It's all right. So I need to ask myself, before I control, what model am I at home? Make sense? 8:30? No, the sleep time is different. But no. Yeah, no, the sleep. Yeah, of course, there are, and we went through this argument with my son before. Well, but remember, if no way, TV is a waste of time, and I'm watching TV. TV at night is wasting your time. You should read the Bible, and I'm not reading the Bible at all, and I'm wasting my time watching TV as well. Oh, they have their phone. So I'm saying, phones, don't go to your bed. No phones in the bed. And I'm taking my phone to bed, watching stuff. The modeling means a lot. And remember, your kids are extremely good observants. They are very good observants. They know exactly what you're doing. They know exactly what you're doing at night. They know exactly what you do in the morning. You try to control them in the morning to make them pray, and you're not modeling that. They know exactly this is fake. Okay? So, point taken. Of course, it's not as simple. The book that I showed you will talk about something called the dance. It's a bit of a dance. So sometimes you put a limit and you feel it's too much. And you sit with your husband or wife and you think, that was too controlling. And they're now grade 9. Let's relax that bit and give them some empowerment. You know what? Now you've grown. It's not 8:30 anymore. It's 9:30 because you're grade 10. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah, okay. You choose what you want to do in the final hour. You can play a game if you want. It's weekend. You can read a book. And then they're going to make mistakes, of course. But you're empowering them. They're empowered. That's an area I would like to give back to them. So this dynamic, the book talks about as a dance. You're dancing, you give, you feel that's too much, you let go. And you feel this is too loose, I need to talk with them again about this. You talk again about this. But you get the spirit of doing things, right? And remember, modeling is key. Okay. My final comment on this point, I know you're probably getting very tired, is remember that you are responsible for adding the ingredients, but you're not responsible for the end product. Lots of us parents think, I am totally responsible for my kid's personality. Seriously? Seriously? My kid's personality and future is dependent fully on me. Really? No, no. There's so many other factors. So many other factors. Friends, teachers, environment, society, culture, genetics, their own choices. Tons of the servants they're going to meet. The priest that is going to meet with them at university. Tons of other factors. So don't take that on you to feel guilty all the time and you're acting out of guilt, feeling that I'm a bad parent. No, listen, you are not fully responsible for every outcome the son or your daughter comes up with. And there's no time, but there are so many biblical stories of very good people, holy people. Their kids were not like them. Okay? There are choices they make. So you're responsible for adding the right ingredient. But the final product is not fully you. It's not fully, you play a role, but it's not all you. Okay? Make sense? I think we should stop here. And I think يعني ده صح يكون؟ لما قلت لك معايا بس هم ممكن ما يكونوش معايا. I only have one point, but يعني it's not as I would like. I'd rather we talk about what you think is practical and what you think is not practical at all. Okay, that's more important than just flooding you with comments and points. The last road less traveled is the emotional regulation one. Okay, we talked about empathy, empowering, which is the ability to lose control. And we are going to talk about emotion regulation. What emotions do we commonly struggle as parents to regulate? What emotions do we commonly struggle as parents to manage and regulate? Which one? Which emotion? Give me types of emotions. Anger is the biggest one. Yeah. Worrying, absolutely. Ya lahwi, we come from a very worrying culture. There's always a catastrophe about to happen. We can't control worrying and anger. Yeah, what else? What other emotions? Quite a few. Impatient, being impatient. Yeah, the feeling really, the urge to do something. Yeah. What other emotions? Jealousy, the jealousy, and comparison. I cannot control my comparison. Like I always see how all my thoughts for my son or daughter that they're going to be this model kid who is doing everything right, getting the right university, a right way of thinking, a right social life, everything I dreamed of. And the child goes very different from all my dreams. And I see my other friends in the church, their kids are beautiful, they're amazing, they're obedient. You cannot control that, yeah? Okay, what other emotions that we struggle to control? You give me 3? Then I have a list that I was going to write more. Anger, disappointment. Sometimes I cannot control my disappointment. I cannot manage my frustration. I cannot manage disrespect. The moment my son disrespects or says something hurtful, this is it. This is it. I lose all the Christian teachings I've learned in my life, and I become a completely different monster in the house. The ship comes up, the hazam comes out, the swearing, who is this? The moment they disrespect me, I'm out. I can't control this emotion. I can't manage this emotion. Undervalued, guilt, fear, humiliation, disrespect, worry, the sense of failure that I brought all this. I brought you from Egypt to Canada. I spent all this money on you, and I feel the failure kills me. Like to think that my kids are a failure, it's just a killer. So it's really important. Number 3 road less traveled in upbringing our kids is to really regulate my emotions and stop externalizing them on my kids. I have a problem that I am struggling with this fear. or this anger, I shouldn't externalize that on my kids. That's not healthy. That's not helpful. That's not going to help them. That's not going to help me either. Do you agree with me? So I need to be aware. Can I manage my emotions? Okay. So here's a verse and a picture, and then we're done. Therefore, from Ephesians 4, putting away lying. This is what I need to do. Speaking the truth to my kids. Be angry and do not sin. So, okay, I have the emotion, but I'm not going to externalize it. I'm not going to sin. I have the feeling, it's burning, but I'm not going to say the word. I have the word here. It's literally here. I'm just going to swallow it. I'm going to manage my emotions. Never give place nor give place to the devil. So I'm not a good swimmer. So I went to take swimming lessons. This is not me. And the instructor said to me that you can just float. I said, yeah, I can float. Yeah. So I lied down and I was easy. I said, this is very easy. I can do it by myself. And then she said, that's okay. Then what we want you to do is you start getting down from floating and flipping to float on your abdomen. So you just flip, roll. I said, okay. So I did it. The moment I did it, water came in my mouth. I panicked. I started trying to swim. I don't know how to swim. So I started sinking, right? So what happened here? I had the fear, but I couldn't stay with the fear. I had to do something. So this is what we call emotion regulation. The ability to stay with the emotion and resist the urge to do something. I can stay very angry. I can take myself to my bedroom. If I feel I'm boiling and I cannot control my mouth, I say, I'm sorry, I'm out of here. Let's talk in 5 minutes. I'm managing my emotions. I'm teaching my kid as well to manage their emotions and not act on this, resisting the urge. What happened with me is I felt panicking, so I had the urge to swim just to get out. So I started flipping just to live. Boom, I sank. It's a big topic, emotion regulation. I'm summarizing it. But it's the skill of knowing what emotions I'm having and staying with it without acting on it, without necessarily having the urge to do something and doing it. So if I'm feeling so disappointed that this is the 5th time I tell you to do this and you have not done it, my mouth is telling me these are the words you should use. Because you're full of disappointment. I should control that, manage that. If I cannot, my husband, you deal with this because I am really struggling with the emotion here. So I'm teaching my son or my daughter that emotions can be stayed with, can be regulated. They don't have to result in an action. Making sense? Right, so summary, roads less traveled with caring for our kids. We spoke about number 1, the verse we said was our role is to declare the life that we've seen to them. Declare here is from the good news, evangelio, giving them the gospel, the good news. You have life, the life that we've seen. And we talked about 3, empathy, putting myself in their shoes, listening accurately, and journey with them, togetherness. You remember the maze? We talked about empowering, the idea of trying to lose control a bit, give them some responsibility, particularly when there is no risk, high risk. And we talked about emotional regulation, that I am modeling how I am resisting the urge to act on every strong emotion that I'm having and actually allowing the feelings to be there, but I'm not going to sin. Let's pause here. And of course, thank you so much for listening. I want to hear from you if you have questions first. And then I have one last question for you, which is what you gained from tonight. So any questions from anybody, particularly if you feel this is not practical? Of course, Georgina.
Considering the kids are very smart and they know the weakness of the parents, similar that we know them very well. Sometimes if they know that you're high temper easily and you're trying to control your emotion, they keep pressing the bottom to a point that it might extend your limitation. So it might go above and beyond. And
beautiful question.
And in a midnight, probably. And you may spend 2 hours holding yourself.
Beautiful question. Beautiful question.
What would you do here?
we have a copy in the Bible, but again, it's not to elaborate too much on this. We have a copy in the Bible of somebody who was under so much pressure and sinned. Do you know who it is? It was Saul, King Saul. Samuel was late. The people were, the enemies are coming, the Philistines, and his own people were like, come on. So he was like, you know what, let me just offer an offering. So you're right, Georgina, sometimes it's the timing, I am tired, and they know my buttons, and they keep pressing the buttons, right? And they know this makes me boil. So what are the thoughts that you're going to give to us here? What are your thoughts about this? What can I do when they know this is my weak point? When I'm saying the ship there has joking, never hit a kid, okay? Never hit a kid, no matter what. Never. Even if they push you, take the most drastic action you want to take. You can say, no Xbox, no whatever. You can take very aggressive action, but don't hit your kid. That's my humble advice. Okay, what else can you do? If you are boiling, and they know you're boiling, and they push you. If you can stop it right there, fantastic. You just if you can take yourself out of the situation, if you can, that's best. You can, pardon me? Change the subject if you can, but I think Georgina is saying they're cornering you, right? They're midnight. Insisting to, yeah. They're, no, beautiful. That's a real example. I love it because it's a real example. Yeah, one, take yourself out of the situation, even if you look stupid. Like even if you decide, I'm sorry, it's getting really heated up. I won't be able to control my emotions beyond this point. Better is to stop here and talk tomorrow. But we're stopping here and we're talking tomorrow. But we're stopping here. You just repeat yourself like a parrot. Literally like a parrot. I'm so sorry. I'm stopping here. We're talking tomorrow. So why are you being so stern? Because I want to communicate to them that, Habibi, when you find yourself boiling, before you sin and say something wrong, take yourself stupidly out of the situation. Georgina, I want my daughter, or my son, when they go into a situation and there's a lot of peer pressure, that they model this by saying, guys, I'm out of this. Come on, I'm out of this. Please, please, I'm out of this. Sorry, I'm leaving. What, you fool? Yeah, I am fool. Whatever you say, whatever you want. I'm out of this. So yeah, take yourself out of the situation immediately. Even if you look like you're mad or fool or doing something or weak, doesn't matter. Removing yourself is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. And it's teaching them that emotions can urge you to do things, and if you feel you're at that threshold, remove yourself. Do you think that's practical? It needs work. What are the consequences? What's going to happen? If I go back to my room, I say, end of talk. I'm not talking. No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking. I've seen parents say, I'm not talking. I'm not talking. It's over. I'm not talking. Either head down, feet up, I'm not talking. End of talk. Then you're not getting a word out of me. By doing what you're doing, you're just wasting your time. You know what? I'm not going to say a single word on this topic. But do whatever you want. I'm not going to say a single word. Of course, if my partner is next to me and I feel I cannot handle this anymore, help them. Tell them the message. My partner should be on my page saying the same thing. Love, we've been talking about this for 2 hours. We're saying, let's pause here. We are tired. We're emotionally drained. You are the same. We cannot continue like this. Why are they pushing? Because they want to see, is this truly what you want to do? Or can I get you to swear? Can I get you to be angry? Because we know that bad attention is better than no attention. So if I can push you and I get your bad attention, it's good. So I am resisting that urge. And it's, of course, Georgina, I'm saying it in a maybe simplistic way, but I have to be firm here. Firm as in, not firm as in telling them what to do or go to bed. No, don't be firm in terms of you need to go to bed. No, I am not talking. So I'm firm in what I am going to do. I'm teaching them, I'm controlling my behavior, not your behavior. You want to scream, you want to shout, that's not my job. But I'm not going to say a word. I'm not. Okay, end of talk. I repeated myself a few times, I'm not going to say more words. It feels cruel, it's okay. It feels that hard to see somebody trying to talk in your face and you say nothing, you say nothing. What if I cannot? And I feel it's a problem that we fall into. there is no harm, and Abuna can correct me if I'm wrong, there's no harm in getting a counselor. If I have a child who has an anger problem, impulsivity problem, ADHD, whatever diagnosis, or no diagnosis, but it's not work, we've tried all the tricks. Listen, we tried all of them. What's the harm in getting advice from a family therapist to say, well, me and my husband want to sit with you for 3 sessions to get some tips, and you can monitor our behavior. There's no harm. They're not going to be replacing the spiritual element, but they're going to teach me what tricks can I use? What tricks can I not use? What have I been doing that is not helpful, that is fueling things? So there are ways of doing this. It's not impossible. And this is why some psychologists and therapists are trained in family therapy, because that's their bread and butter. They talk to you about how to handle your emotions, how to handle altercations like this, anger like this, when it's really out of your hand. Oh, you have a resource for us?
Yes, the
Okay.
resource.
All right. What is the name?
Like where to start.
Where to start? Okay.
So you can call them. There is
Yeah.
a lot of information and resource to support the teenagers.
Beautiful point. I think we also need to resist the urge that if I seek help, it means I'm a failure. If I seek help, it means I have a big issue. No, I'm seeking help not because I have a big issue, but because God has given me resources in Canada that I can call and get some help and get some advice and see what do you guys do and learn. This is what I am learning in my career. This is where tons of our Christian therapists are also learning by studying psychology, studying psychotherapy. So we have resources. So if you feel I've tried everything I've heard and it's not working, I don't see any problem, and Abuna can correct me, I don't see any problem in seeking some advice. 2-3 sessions of understanding why are we getting into a deadlock all the time. I tried the empathy, I tried the empowerment, I tried the regulating my emotions. Something is locked. Okay? Right. Any other questions or comments? Yes, I have 2. Choose one. Okay. Is it a good tactic to tell them a story, right? That's what you're asking. I'm repeating the question. Is it a good tactic to tell them a story to teach them a lesson, right? So I'm going to... It's a scary story? Yeah. Look what happened. I know somebody who did exactly the
For
same.
example,
They're now in jail. Yeah.
No, like
Not
a
like that.
teenager got a lot of alcohol, then in her life that happens to her. So if I tell to my kids, is it going to help them?
It depends on the way I'm doing it. So if I give you an example on this point, I was talking to my son about addiction. I said to him, let's look up some YouTube on, I think it was gaming addiction that we were talking about. We put it up on YouTube. Me and him, we spent half an hour. We found a beautiful video. We listened to it together, watched it together, and it was just learning for both of us. It was a video that I used in one of my talks. At one of the mothers of a gaming child, she was talking about her experience, and me and him had a chat about it after that. So it depends on how I'm doing it, okay? If I'm doing it the way of I'm controlling you by telling you awful stories to threaten you, to make you feel the fear, I'm actually having that fear. I am the one scared. I am the one who's fearful, and I am just projecting that on you. So I'm going to make you feel the fear as well. But that's not the message. The message is there is something that you need to be cautious about. I didn't bring you, there's a beautiful quotation by St. Cyril of Alexandria, and he is really beautifully talking about being cautious. So I want my kids to be cautious, but not to be fearful. I want them to be, so this is the message I want them to hear. Back to your point I read about the driving, I want them to be cautious. So I need to ask myself, if I tell them that story the way I plan, will that instill fear? Or will that instill aggression and stubbornness and argument, or caution? And as I say, the best way is to do it together. Like, I've heard the story, shall we read it together? And also it depends on how we establish the relationship. If they know, we know you, mom, you are choosing the stories that are going to tell us your point. You're not fair. I say, no, let's be fair. Let's look it up on Google. Let's see the statistics. Let's read it together. I'm not telling you what to do, Habibi. I'm not telling you smoke weed or don't smoke weed. Okay, this is a choice you're going to make. You are a grade 11. This is your choice. All right. But I'm going to tell you, the line I'm drawing, no weed coming my house. Okay, that's the line I'm drawing. It's not going to happen. Number one. Number two, why don't we read together about the benefits and the costs and the disadvantages together? Let's read it. What resources are you going to read? He's going to choose something. I'm going to say, no. Let's look at journals together. What is flawed about X talking about this on YouTube? What's wrong about it? What is it that they're omitting? Let's look at more facts. So I'm teaching them how to think, how to look at facts, how to ask for help. Sometimes I don't know the answer. Very easy to say to my son, you know what? This is not a topic I read a lot about, but it's a very interesting topic. Give me a week. I need to go back and read more, ask more, watch more on it, and come back to you and we think together. Why don't we do this together? You look it up, I look it up, we come back again and think what the spirit is. I'm maintaining the relationship is more important than the topic for me and you. I want you to be friends. I want us to be friends, number one. Number two, I'm respecting your thoughts. I'm respecting you as a person. I'm respecting your ideology, even if I think it's stupid to me, but I'm respecting it, okay? And I want to invest in you. I want to invest in togetherness, to think about this together, even if I think it's not an important topic. It's important for you, therefore, it's important for me. Does that make sense? This is the spirit that we want to have. Does that answer your question? You have one.
To what extent can we control, like, what's the, I don't like the word control, but like, because we've been taught, you know, from the church, like the church taught us that whatever they read or the music they listen to, if we know it's bad, we should not, maybe we shouldn't encourage it. So if you know, for example, like that, like you've watched this movie before and they want to watch it, and they're insisting that they're old enough to watch it, but you know that there are inappropriate scenes, and like, let's say you know that this artist is bad, like it's just the lyrics are bad, and even if they're not horrible, like it's not like really bad, it's like, it's just the thoughts that might come after it, like it's just the repetition that they're listening to the same music, and it's just the lyrics are bad, and they have hidden messages, like hidden words, like really inappropriate. Yeah. Do you give them the choice of, you can listen to it and then find out for themselves? Because, like, you know, right now it's just, society is very clever. Like they're so smart.
And there are words, bad words in
you really have to listen to the lyrics, and the lyrics are horrible. Like,
every
really
song.
bad. We've looked up, I've looked up the, you know, like I've looked up the lyrics. It's really bad, but they don't understand how bad they are, especially when they're younger and like 10 years old, 11 years old. They don't know how bad it is, but they have hidden messages. So, like, would you?
Okay.
Hello.
I didn't catch your name.
Caroline.
Caroline.
Yeah.
What do you think? Is this an area of responsibility that you want to give to them, or is it an area where it's immediate safety? I need to come in and stop that. What's your thought? Are we talking about grade 7, 8, 7? 7? 6 كمان في 6? Okay. Let's say from 6 to above. What would you do? Is this an area of, I want to give them some responsibility, or area where I'm clamping down? No. So Georgina is saying, we cannot even control this, because if we say no, they're going to hear it in the school or outside or in the mall. Same thing. Rosie is saying the same thing. So my opinion, it depends on the age as well. So I'm going to share my experience. It doesn't make it right. Okay? It doesn't make it right. I'm just sharing my experience, Caroline. Because I have two boys. I have someone who's younger. Yeah, grade 6 and 7, I am controlling this a bit. I'm saying, no, Habibi, these are not words that we would like to listen to at home. As they approach 7 and 8, where I feel they are mature, every kid is different. I feel they're mature enough that we can have that conversation. Then we can sit down and have that conversation. And of course, with my grade 9, I cannot limit that, but I can share my thoughts. And I can listen to the song with them. And I can say, I like the beat. But it's just the F word all the time. I felt it's quite disgusting. I didn't like the words. What does he mean by blah, blah, blah? Dad, I know, it doesn't mean anything. But I like that. I like that rapper. I know, but do you agree with me that this line and that line, yeah, I know, they're just awful. But sorry, Dad. No, I'm not upset, but I'm sharing my thoughts with you. So I'm teaching them to be how my thought process goes. So I'm giving them my thinking process. I'm teaching them my thinking process, and I'm drawing a line. This is not going to be on the speakers at home. We're not going to listen to this in church, for example. No, there's a line I'm drawing. You're not going to teach your brother or sister these songs, or the young ones. No, this is a line I'm drawing. This is where I am controlling, saying, no, this is no. But if you really want to listen to these songs, okay, share them with me. Let's share the views. What actually do you like in it? I have never heard a kid who said, I like the swear. I've never heard that. But this is what scares us, like the swear word, the bad word. But I've never heard a kid who said the swear word. But then we can have a discussion about, do you think it's really healthy to have this repeated? I sometimes feel the words can pollute my mind, and I don't like it. What do you think? So I'm sharing that. They might not listen to you at all, and they go and listen to them again. But what sinks here is, Dad loves me. Mom is keen on the relationship. They respected my thoughts and my generation and my culture. They even sat down and listened. I had kids who went telling their friends, guess what? My mom listened to this rapper with me. So proud that they felt so valued, but we disagreed with the content. We said we didn't like it. We didn't like the words, we didn't like the story, we didn't like this, but I agree with you, the beat was nice, yeah. That would be my approach. I don't know if people disagree with that. Remember, we're talking about grade 9, 10, 11, where they will hear that everywhere, but I'm teaching them why I think it's not healthy. That's the message they will get from me. And you empower them, they make right choices. You control everything, they are stubborn to make exact opposite thing that you told them to do. But within a limit. What is the limit? I'm thinking safety, risk, asking my partner, I'm guessing it's the gentleman next to you, is this too much? Is this too little? Should we let go? It's no problem that we let go and we felt we were wrong. We needed to bring down the responsibility. Bring the kids again. Look, last week we made that decision. Clearly it didn't go well. We think we will actually stop the internet at night, or we think we're going to limit the time. What are they learning? My parents are flexible. When they make a mistake, they can go back and take it and say, no, we're drawing another line. It's not a problem. It's not like one decision forever. Okay. Do you agree with this? لا? Yes? One point.
One question.
ومشاغب على طول الناس بتحبك قوي.
Because in any plaza now there is a cannabis store.
Okay.
And 100% most of us hear from our not kids, our adults now. Okay. Oh, this guy on the school
sells
sells,
yeah.
yes.
Or
okay.
even gives it for free.
Yeah, sometimes,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
And their thoughts that a small dose can help me to
relax.
To relax, to pass this depression, so how can we?
What is the question? You're not going to stop that. You're not going to kill the people in the school. Like you're not going to shoot the guys. So what you want is your aim. Your aim is to empower your son. Is it a son or daughter? Son? Daughter. You want to empower your daughter or your son to think, to search for information, to be very cautious. So what is your argument, Habibti? My love, your argument is people say you can take a small dose and it's fine. Let's read on, can cannabis cause harm from a one-off? There are at least 10 case scenarios in the papers of people who tried cannabis once and the symptoms lasted for years. So let's read it together. She's going to make her choice. But I respected that she's thinking. I respect that she's challenging me. I think this is a good challenge. I don't know the answer. Let's look at it together. And if we don't know, let's call a psychologist, a psychiatrist. Call Abuna. Do you know any articles on cannabis for kids? For example, I think it was St. Mary's Church in Mississauga, there was a physician called Shadi. He gave a beautiful talk on cannabis. Let's bring him here. He can give us a talk to our youth about cannabis. Let's ask him, what resources do you have? That puts more work on me. The easiest way is, no, this is wrong. This is a stupid idea. It's so dangerous. This is the easiest way. But the hardest way is what we're talking about. No, I'm going to go the hardest. I'm going to search for this question that doesn't touch you, right? You're not going to try cannabis. But it's your daughter. Your thoughts are important. Your challenges are important, that I'm going to spend half an hour of my time thinking about this and reading about this with you. I'm teaching her how to think. I'm empowering her. And also telling her we are friends. We are together. Do you agree with this answer? Okay. Because you cannot go to every plaza and tell them, if you see my daughter here, I'm going to kill you. You cannot do that. No, I don't want them to follow my thoughts. The ideal situation is not for them to follow my, this is not the ideal situation. The ideal scenario is they like me enough and they feel the genuine interest enough that they listened to my point and we did it together. This is the beauty of it. Remember this? This is the ingredient. I love you, I respect you, I'm interested in your question. The product, you have to choose. I'm going to ask you, are you telling me that every kid who tried drugs have not come back and became stronger spiritually? Is our history in the church telling us that people who went astray have never come back? Don't we boast about St. Moses, the strong, and others, and St. Mary, the Egyptian? So in our history, we know very well that the end product is in God's hand. But we have to put the right ingredients. So I'm going back to your point. The ideal scenario is not that she says to me, amazing, thank you, Dad, so much. From now on, I'm going to do it. This is not my ideal scenario. The beauty I want to reach is the ingredient, that I put an ingredient of love, an ingredient of honesty, an ingredient of respect, an ingredient of value, an ingredient of togetherness. These are the ingredients I put in the cooking. What comes out, Lord, I'm praying every day for my kids. This is beyond me. Does that answer your question? We think we are responsible for, yeah, we are caring a lot about, we think that we are responsible for the final product of our kids fully. We have some responsibility. What did we put? What did we plant? Forgive me, Abuna, I have so many friends who are priests. So even on the level of priesthood, I cannot be responsible for every person confessing to make sure they follow the advice I'm giving and they don't. No, but I'm putting the right ingredient, the prayer, the love, the togetherness, the repentance. And one of the ingredients is my repentance. I remember a friend of mine, a priest, he used to teach that the best thing you can offer to your kids is your own repentance. But this is not the road we want to take, me included, because this is hard. Because it means I let go of watching stuff that I like, watching pornography, being loose with a few things, being loose with my commitment to God. This is harder. The easiest is to assume I have to control my kids to make sure they get to the right point. At least I don't feel guilty that my kids were perfect. This is not the right way, in my opinion. A big question is, am I repenting? Because my repentance is a key ingredient. It's the oil that I'm adding. If I'm not repenting and I'm not committing myself, then I'm not adding a key ingredient in the cooking. But sometimes we don't want that ingredient. It's not important. It doesn't matter. What matters is you don't touch drugs. You don't touch sin. You don't watch anything. So this is not right. It's not sitting right with me.
Another question about helping kids not to imitate others or following others, friends or something, to be cool, especially in doing wrong things. So how we can guide them not to be unique or not to follow everything that others say.
Beautiful question. Your name is?
Laura.
Laura. Laura, a key question for me first, before you say that question. Do I see my kids as unique? Because sometimes we struggle to see our kids as unique. But okay, I see my kids as unique. We're going back to the 4 things that we mentioned in empathy. Number 1, if I do the dad's thing, like this is wrong, the comparison is wrong, they don't listen to that. One, ليه حبيبي, you are better than them, why are you thinking this way? That doesn't work. Number 3, God made you unique. It's not wrong, but it's not my role only. My role doesn't stop here as a mom. Number 4 is, come on, you are better, encourage. I need to empathize. Listen, what are they doing? Okay, they're doing X, Y, and Z. What makes you really want to do that? What does that add to them? Do you really think that the value of a person is so and so? That's very interesting. So you think if you do this, this, and that, that makes you cool. How many people, for example, there's a study on how many people thought that others think of them as cool if they vape. And how many of others thought that the people who vape were cool. So you can see the disparity. Like, people think that if I vape, everyone thinks that I'm cool. But when they asked everyone else, they didn't think they were cool. So really getting into that thinking with them. What am I doing? Even if we don't get an answer, Laura, but I'm allowing them to think, not everything that looks cool actually looks cool to others. So in their way of thinking, Laura, there is something wrong in the way of thinking that they have. I am not going to say, this is wrong. Absolutely not. You are unique. For a teenager, this is not what I want to do. I want to sit with them and think, what made you think they are really cool? What is being cool? Who said to you they are cool? Is your judgment what really matters to you? Okay, what if the judgment is not accurate? Did you really ask them that they think really cool of everyone who does that? So that dialogue is empathic, empowers the relationship, and empowers them to think about their thinking. That matters more to me as a parent.
Sometimes it can lead them to be bullied, or it can lead them to be separated out of groups, or so how can you help them?
Empathy means you're scared about what? Dad, they did that, mom, they did that to my friend, and she was excluded. It was terrible. I said, you know what? Being excluded is horrible. Me, myself, about a month ago, some of our colleagues in the downtown area decided to create a group, WhatsApp group. So they created the group, they didn't invite me, okay? For how long? For half an hour. In this half an hour, I experienced how exclusion can be so terrible, because I felt, what are they talking about behind my back? Why did they not include me? What did I do wrong? So, and then after half an hour, I was tempted to ask, guys, did you start the group? Oh, sorry, Michael, we didn't include you. And they included me. But I felt, thank you, Lord, because that made me understand how troubling that is. That's the empathy. I understand my daughter's trouble. I want to put myself in her shoes and say, that's terrible. So they leave you alone. Yeah, that can be very challenging, very challenging. Being lonely and feeling isolated, and they gossip about you. Oh, if I'd done that right, she will feel, Mom understands me, she loves me. Then she will start asking, what could I do? Well, what can you do that doesn't touch risk, but also wins people? What can you do that makes you lovable and likable, but draw a line for yourself? Then I'm teaching her to be cautious, but also to win some people. So that's the lesson. But if it's coming from above, and I'm sitting there telling her what to do, she's not going to receive it well. But we're together thinking about what is the best way. Yeah, it's a difficult one. And believe me or not, you will come into situations with your kids that is harder than your work. You probably have never had such a difficult situation at work since you've graduated. But your son might give you a very challenging one. You don't have to have the answer. You are not a parent because you have the answers, but because you love and care and you transmit the love of Christ. So you're sitting down and thinking, this is a challenging one. I actually don't know. Let's think about it for a day or two. I really don't know. Look, we want to be cautious, right? Yeah. So I'm teaching them the way of thinking, right? You want to be cautious, but you also don't want to put yourself at risk, right? Yeah, exactly, Mom, exactly. You want to be lovable, yeah? But you also don't want to, sell everything, right? Yeah. Let's pray. Let me pray and think with you about it for the next few days. I'm teaching them how to approach a challenge, how to approach a difficult situation. And I'm going to pray because I don't have the answers. Laura, thank you so much. Let's pray. Can you stand up for prayer? Yeah. Sorry, I cut you short. Huh?
Sit down. Let's wait. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Michael. Give him a big hand for today. It was really amazing. What I really like, that it came from a professional background, along with a very spiritual background as well, with the Christian background, with the father's quotation from St. Cyril's of Alexandria. So I was really impressed today from today's presentation. Thank you so much. First of all, I have a couple of comments. First of all, I just want to say they are really having amazing kids and youth. Maybe you heard a lot, but they really are amazing kids and youth. I want you to know this. And they're amazing parents as well. So do not feel. I was watching everybody's how they take and think. And the positive thing I noticed today, that you guys now, maybe it's my mistake because we didn't have a parents meeting for a long time, but you guys get the impression that we are